Yo, what is up guys? It's Jack and welcome back to another video. So next week we're due for a major game update for Black Ops 4, and a lot of the focus apparently, if not a very vast majority of it, is going to be on the weapons. It's going to be the first pass at weapon tuning update. So in this one I wanted to talk about exactly what I am expecting, and I wouldn't be too surprised if we got some surprises. Because of the fact that this is the first game ever where we're getting 150 health, and the reason why we're getting 150 health to begin with was all about weapon tuning and balancing. It was pretty much weapon based. That's it. So I wouldn't be surprised if they tuned the weapons a little bit differently this time than what they usually do. I personally, like the rest of our community, or a vast majority of our community, would really just prefer them just to buff the things that need to be buffed and leave all the good stuff the way they are. Except for possibly sniper rifles, and if they do nerf sniper rifles, which they may or may not do, I personally think that they should be minimally nerfed. And what I mean by minimally nerfed is like just take away a teeny tat bit of that aim assist, so that way it takes at least a little bit more skill to use a sniper rifle. So that way every single sniper that you run into isn't as good as Pomage, because it's not the way it's supposed to be. Pomage is Pomage because he's literally that good. But it seems to be very common to run into a whole bunch of Pomages in this game. So that's not right. So I hope the snipers get a little bit of a nerf, but I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't even get touched, because quite frankly, let's be real, the last time Vaughn touched the snipers in a game, which was Black Ops 2, he slightly nerfed them a little bit, and the man got death threats. So I wouldn't be surprised if the snipers didn't get touched. In Black Ops 3, a lot of people didn't like snipers. There were snipers in the game, but a lot of people didn't like snipers in the game because, quite frankly, you had to have a good amount of skill in order to use them, because they eliminated a lot of the aim assist, if not all of it, from the snipers. So only the snipers with legit sniping skill would be able to effectively use snipers in that game. So yeah, there's that. And yeah, let's talk about the weapons. Now, before we get into the weapons, I just want to say that I'm mainly going to be talking about SMGs and assault rifles, although there is one thing in terms of shotguns that I would like them to nerf tremendously, and that is that piece of shit operator mod flashlight for one of the shotguns. I forget what the name of the shotgun is, but I don't give a damn, but we know what I'm talking about here. That thing needs to either go and become something else, which I doubt they would ever do something like that, but I think it just needs to be nerfed. I know it makes for really great, funny videos, but when it happens to you, it's nothing but freaking annoying. And on top of that, you should always be able to, at least to a certain degree, have a decent way of looking at your target. I mean, if you can't see your target, it's bullshit. So, but yeah, I wanted to mention that real quick, and I also wanted to mention that that motherfucking 9bang. What is it, Ajax's 9bang or whatnot, which is a perfect name, by the way, because every single time I get hit by one of those things, it makes me feel like I'm getting gangbanged by 9 guys, and each one of them is hung no less than 9 inches. So 9 is the key word here, or the key number here, and quite frankly, that's exactly what it makes me feel like every time I get stunned by one of those things. So yeah, that thing needs a tremendous nerf, and I think everybody's been pretty much talking about that. It's just overkill at this point. So in terms of the specialist stuff, I don't want to get into that because this video would be way too long, but it is what it is. We're just going to have to deal with it, and I'm sure in due time there's going to be things that are going to be nerfed. Like, for instance, when you get shocked by the Tempest's little RC thing or whatever the hell it's called, and if it shocks you, and if you don't press X in time or square, if you're playing on PlayStation or whatnot, you're going to be shocked for like a hell of a long time, and a person can run all the way across the map and kill you. So but anyway, yeah. So let's get into the weapons here. The ICR, I think, in terms of assault rifles, the ICR, I think, is going to get a nerf in some way, shape, or form. I'm not sure, but the pros really like the weapon, just like they like the Vesper and the Vapor and the Maddox. But I think the ICR is going to get a nerf because it's just too easy to use, and the speed and damage and everything is just really good. Now, again, some of these nerfs and buffs, I mean, they could be somewhat related to the fact that the hit detection is inconsistent. For instance, I feel that if you are using a slower firing weapon, a slower rate of fire weapon, you're at a disadvantage. For instance, if you're using the Rampart in a lot of scenarios, I think you're at a disadvantage because it takes forever for your hits to register because the gun fires a little bit too slow. And even with High Cal 1 and High Cal 2, you're not going to get into too many, you're not going to kill people, at least with my experience. You're not going to always kill people consistently fast like you should because of the hit detection, because the weapon itself fires slow, and it's very easy for slower fire weapons to not register when it's like this, the way it is in Black Ops 4 with the connection the way it is now. And I think it's been mentioned to such, like for instance with slower fire weapons, and how faster fire weapons are actually better because more hits will connect a lot faster before the refresh rate or whatnot. So yeah, it is what it is. So I think the can and the Rampart, I don't know if they need a buff because of the whole latency and hit detection or whatnot. I guess maybe that might resolve itself after that gets resolved eventually, when we finally get to 60 hertz or whatnot one of these days, hopefully. But yeah, the weapons don't feel like they hit hard enough, as hard as they should at least. I know the Rampart's supposed to be the hardest hitting per shot in the class, and the can I think is supposed to be number 2 after that, but they just with my experience they just kill too slow, and it's and every single time I do put bullets into somebody, even when I'm playing a little bit passively, the next thing I know they could be using an SMG and they could be at a long distance just like I am, and I'm dead before I know it, and it's not supposed to happen that way. So I don't know, either those two weapons need a buff, like whether it's the fire rate or whatever the hell it is. I don't think they need a buff in damage, but I think they might need a buff in fire rate. I think the Rampart needs to fire just a little bit faster than what it does now. I think the Scar H was firing just a little bit faster than the Rampart. So maybe that might be something, but I don't know. Only time will tell. Let's see, what else am I looking at here? The Vapor and the Maddox, I think they're going to get a nerf, and I think the way that they're going to get that nerf is probably recoil. I think they're going to increase recoil because those weapons don't have that much recoil to begin with. And in terms of the ICR, I think that's the connection, I think, is part of the reason. There's two reasons why I think the ICR is really strong right now. Number one, because of the way the connection works, and the gun fires pretty fast, and on top of that, if you put grip 1 and grip 2 on it, it basically eliminates flinch, which is one of the annoying things that they brought back in this game that I personally think they never should have. And it's not having flinch puts you at a major advantage. You put those two things together, and the fact that the gun is a laser beam, and it has a decent damage rate and a decent fire rate, I mean, you're in for a deadly weapon that way. So maybe that gun's gonna get a nerf, who knows. The only thing they need, the biggest thing that needs a buff is the damn connection. And let's see, and every single submachine gun except for the SOG 9mm is probably going to get a buff. I'm expecting a good amount of buffing to be done with submachine guns. So, but yeah, that's all that needs to be said, really. I mean, that's in terms of specifics. I mean, we don't really need to get into any specifics. The assault rifles are going to get a nerf, or they might not be touched at all. I mean, who knows? They might fulfill our wish that we want as a community, to where we don't want anything that's good to be touched, and just buff all the stuff that's not good, so that way we can continue using everything. Because if something is good, we don't want to stop using it, because it ends up being trash later. So, but anyway, guys, that's all I got for this one. Let me know down in the comment section what you guys think is going to be tuned, and what your wish list would be to be tuned or changed or buffed or nerfed. And as always, let me know if you enjoyed the video, and if you didn't, let me know what I can do to make my videos better, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.